What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Lambo Place podcast, episode 42. I'm your host, Narcocop, along with my co-host, Timothy Troiano, ready to kick this UFC 283 card off with some big plus money props. Tim, how are you seeing this UFC 283?
I'm super stoked for it. Really good card in Brazil. Going to have a crazy Brazilian crowd out there. Lot of violence. I predict a lot of violence, which is always fun to have these kind of cards.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. So far, the biggest card of the year, obviously. It's early in the year, but a really nice card up and down. We did not lose a single fight, but I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. Someone doesn't go to the hospital, most likely Shamil, but hopefully it doesn't happen.
The two biggest odds to parlay on that one are Shamil and Farren.
Hopefully nothing happens and we keep these 15 fights. But before we go on to our breakdowns of these of this card, let me go over to chat and shout them out, because without them, we won't be here, right? DFS by the numbers, my man Brady, let's go. What's up, brother? MMA Propaholic, one more sleep. Yes, sir. Let's fucking go. Joe Mama's house, let's fucking go. I like all these let's fucking goes. Landon's in here. Thunder Nuts DFS. Narco was on Simon, but seems like most of the cappers are on Marcos. Looking for dog money. Also, the line got closer. We'll talk about that because I think that's the first fight of the night. Mr. Jingles, what is up, my man? Mr. Jingle, thanks for the Lambo last week. Definitely nailed Nascimento sub, Johnson KO, Iggy KO. Small play, but a nice win. Thank you very much. Tajik the GOAT is in here. Let's freaking go. Lou Betcha, what is cracking? Tim and Narco, what is up? My friend Lou Betcha and Michael Ferris. I wait all week for this show. I really appreciate that, Michael Ferris. 38 of you in here already. Thank you very, very much. And with that being said, we got 15 fights to go through, and we need to start with the first fight of the night. Wait, I have some new stuff going on here. So, all right, first fight of the night. Daniel Marcos, the newcomer to the UFC in the bantamweight division with a 13-0 record, going up against the 18-4 Simon Oliveira. Tim, what do you got here for your Lambo play?
You know, this is one of those fights that you don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of conviction on, but I think it goes like one of two ways. I like the Simon sub, or I like the Marcos by points. I think that the fight kind of could go one of those two ways. I think Simon's really dangerous and throws a bunch of spinning shit standing. So could he catch like one of those and get a KO? Yeah, but I kind of lean him going by sub. He's got a really good guillotine. I don't think that Marcos is going to go for takedowns at all, so he's going to have to get that from like a top position, or he's going to have to get a sub from a different position. But I do think that he'll eventually get the fight to the ground, or the fight will get there, and I do think the sub for Simon is a good look at plus 380, I think, on FanDuel. So,
yeah, I mean, the guy goes for a ton of guillotines, so I don't blame you for that. Like he goes for those, right? Yeah, for me, like I'm looking at this matchup, I'm seeing a guy that's 13-0. That's fought, pretty much cans in the Sparta 300 Sparta League that 99.9% of the MMA Twitter public has never even heard of. He comes back, he fights on Dana White's Contender Series, looks pretty good after a 3-year layoff, and defeats a guy in Brandon Lewis who's very miniature for the division, a smaller stature guy, and he looked fairly decent. Marcos used nice kicks up the middle, used a nice kicking game, decent striking from him. Used this range, right? He used this length against this guy. And, he's 5'7" with a 69-inch reach. The one thing I do want to point out here is, for the people to know, is that Simon Oliveira is not 5'4" and does not have a 66.9-inch reach. Simon Oliveira is at minimum 5'6", maybe 5'7", and he has a 72-inch reach. I think that matters a lot, because I don't want people to think that this guy, Simon Oliveira, is 5'4". He's not. He's clearly not 5'4", and he has a 72-inch reach. He doesn't have a 67-inch reach. So Basically, why I'm saying that is because I don't think Marcos is going to be able to do the things that he did to Brandon Lewis in his last fight, right? The other thing that I saw with Marcos that was kind of concerning is the fact that he slowed down in a very big way in the third round against Lewis, who he dropped, who he rocked. Like, he shouldn't have been slowing down, in that third round. It's not like there was a ton of grappling. Don't understand why his cardio fell off. Now, when I watch Simon Oliveira, there's a lot of grappling in the Gravely fight. He gets taken down a bunch. He's on his back a bunch. And you know who looks pretty good in the third round? Simon Oliveira. He's going for the kill in that third round. Like, he's throwing everything in the kitchen sink in that third round. And you probably kind of know where I'm going with this, Tim. I like the Simon Oliveira round 3 plus 1100 here, man. I think he has the better cardio. He's definitely the more proven UFC fighter as of now, even though, he has a loss in the UFC, but it wasn't a bad showing against a guy that has very, very good wrestling in Tony Gravely. So with that being said, I like the cardio on Oliveira. I don't like the cardio at all on Marcos from what I've seen. This is only his second fight from a 3-year hiatus. And so I'm going to have to roll with Simon Oliveira, round 3 plus 1100. I don't mind that play whatsoever.
Yeah, I think that's a better way to go even than sub, like when taking the time props, because as I was thinking about it more, like he does do that spinning shit and he throws he tries to kill. So I wouldn't be shocked if he gets a KO. Would you?
No, because I mean, Marcos, okay, if you watch that Lewis fight, Lewis missed every single punch because he has T-Rex arms. He just doesn't have.
Lewis also got 2 takedowns, right?
Yeah, he got 2. Yeah, but Marcos got up pretty easily because
it's not that. It's more the fact that he got him.
He got him.
Yeah.
And I think the stronger guy, to be honest, from what I've seen on tape, is Simon Oliveira. But we'll see. I like Simon. I like Simon in general in this fight. I don't really rate Marcos that high. Yeah, he looked good, but he looked good against who? And then the other thing you got to look at is he's training with Rosa. So what happens when he gets on his back, Tim?
Yeesh.
He stays on his back probably.
Yeah. But what is the round 2 for him? Because we usually don't just do, I was just curious.
Yeah,
I know if we bet him, we usually do both.
I didn't look at it, but yeah, I'm gonna play both of them. But I only want to give one play. But round 2 is plus 700, 750.
That's pretty
good. You
can
get 800 if you have Unibet, but yeah, plus 750, plus 800. To me, he has the better cardio by a good deal. Thank you, Tajik. I appreciate it. I'm trying. Daz, what's up, my brother? Zach Singleton, let's freaking go. And Rob Lawrence, what's up? Let's fucking eat, baby. Let's eat. So yeah, we'll move on to the second fight of the night. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 9-1 Josiane Nunez versus the 6-4 Zara Farren. Zara Farren. And I'll kick this one off, Tim. For this one, I was going back and forth. I'm like, can Nunez knock this girl out? Yes, I do think she can knock her out. Farren kind of leaves her hands down when she's striking, which is a concern against a power puncher like Nunez. But look at these graphics, 5'2" against 5'8", 67-inch reach against a 73-inch reach. And when you look at Zara Farren in general, how does she get beat, Tim? She gets beat by people that take her down. That's just the truth. Felicia Spencer took her down, beat her up. Megan Anderson took her to cage, took her down, got a triangle. Sinead Kavanagh took her down a bunch of times in that fight. She gets beat by getting taken down, right? What does Josiane Nunez not do? Take people down, right? She doesn't grapple at all. So there's a huge, huge height and reach advantage here. And we know in women's MMA, if, that stuff works. If you can use it correctly, it works. Now, I'm not saying Zara Farren is some high-level striker. I do think she's the better technical striker, but Nunez does have the power. At the end of the day, I'm playing a number, and the number for me that I like is Zara Farren by decision at plus 800. I just think, like, if this fight gets to the scorecards, it's probably going to be very, very, very close because Nunez probably doesn't finish, and Farren can probably land a lot more from the outside here if Nunez has trouble getting into the pocket. So plus 800. I mean, you got to be kind of crazy to lay these numbers on Nunez, to be honest. Like minus 500, 550. Like, I understand she can knock her out, but it's mind-boggling. This girl just went 3 rounds with Pasquale. Like, I can't get to that number. So give me Zara Farren by decision, plus 800. What do you like?
You know what her split decision is, right? It's 25.
It's probably astronomical.
25-1.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a good bet.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, and there's no question about it. Those are fucking beauts. Like you're saying, I mean, like, Felicia Spencer sucks on the feet, but if you're telling me that Felicia Spencer has top position, she's fucking good, right? Megan Anderson, like, dude, she's fucking good. Like, these are like really, really dangerous fighters and strong. Both are strong as shit. Like, and both have like the size to take her down. Like, it's not easy for this like gnome to take her down at this point, is it? Right? I mean, she's barely going to get to her knees. So I mean, I'm with you. I think the money line is just crazy stupid. You know, the only other play that I would think is like maybe viable would be that is a Lambo on the Nunez side. I'm with you on the Farren by points and Farren by split at 25-1 and 8-1. But the only one that I'd be on Nunez would be the KO2. 4 of the 7 wins that she has are KO2s. She tends to like fuck people up in the first round and then they almost die and then she just finishes them. And they're usually like a lunch lady and stuff like that. And it's in like regional stuff. But yeah, I think that's a good look too. That's plus 500. But I'm with you, man. I think that this is one of those fights where hindsight, we could just be looking back and going, we didn't look at this. Hey, who the fuck did Nunez beat? Bam Alecki and like who was there? Ramona?
I mean, like, Pascal, like 2 of the worst to do
like,
it.
Worst to ever do it. You know what I'm saying? And like, yeah, I just think that there's this is a classic. Really, we could be looking back in hindsight and saying, what the hell were we thinking not playing this a little bit? You know, so yeah, I think they're good shots.
And you know what? Like, not only are those 2 chicks that she fought bad, right? They're bad fighters. They're bad strikers, dude. They're like terrible strikers.
Right.
At least Zara Farren has decent striking. Like,
yeah, this is the best matchup that she's had in the UFC by like tenfold. By tenfold.
Her ground game sucks.
What does she have to worry? What does she really, really have to worry about in this fight, technically, from a striking standpoint? Is an overhand left, overhand left, overhand left.
Chucking bombs. That's
just
it.
From the same wing every single time. Exactly. Yeah.
So Propaholic says Nunez by murder. Zach says Sarah by decision. I like that. And Arturo says, is anybody else squinting? I'm sorry, man. Yeah, listen, if you guys don't like the graphics, I won't put them up. Let me know in chat, and I won't put them up. I should have used different color there, but yeah, that was a bad color choice on my part. But yeah, let's move on. Fight number 3. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 14-5 Worley Alves going up against the 24-1 Nicholas Dalby. Timothy, what do you got for me here?
I think that there's, Warley can be Jekyll and Hyde, one of those type of fighters where you just, as Forrest Gump said, like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're going to get. But he can be really fucking good though. And he can also really suck. So, and he's got about 7 minutes to kill typically in a fight. He's got about 6 to 7 minutes to really go full out. But when he does, he's extremely dangerous, and he's extremely dangerous in every facet. So I like Worley here. I like Worley round 1, plus 460. I think it's a good look. If you want to get super greasy with it, you can do Worley sub round 1 at 1700. I do think that is a possibility. I don't think it's the more likely outcome. I do think he's more likely to bonk him, but if he is really, really grapple, if his plan is grapple heavy, or I think if Dalby has any success in the feet at first, I think that he might decide to take the fight to the ground. And if that's the case, then 17-1 is going to look really, really good. But I like round 1 plus 460 in general.
Yeah, I mean, Worley round 1 cannot be like a bad thing, right? Because this guy comes out hot. Like every single freaking fight, he comes out like trying to kill everybody in the first round, right? And what I've noticed, and I think it's something to also note, is the fact that Dalby starts kind of slow too. Like the guy is just not a very fast starter, right? So one guy starts very fast. The other guy tends to lose like a lot of round 1s. Dalby seems to come on more later in the fight, right? And vice versa with Alves, because I think he fades in most of his fights. He fades. There was one specific fight that he fought in Brazil. He looked good for 3 rounds. I want to say it was the other Brazilian, Moises, that he finished. But in that fight, his cardio was good, right? So with all that being said, one guy's a slow starter, extremely slow at round 1. He already got clubbed and subbed in round 1 against Jesse Ronson, right? Why can't he get destroyed again in round 1 against such a big, fast, powerful starter in Alves? Round 1 is plus 460. I don't want to choose sub and KO and get really screwed on this play. But round 1 plus 460, I'm going to take a shot with that because Alves is just that guy. He can get you out of there very early. And honestly, Nicholas Dalby, I watched a lot of his fights. He's fucking very slow starter, man. He loses those round 1s like 90% of the time. So another prop that if you have bet online is really good. Round 1 finish or win on scorecards for round 1, Alves is plus 130. Stupid line. Absolutely bonkers. I'm going to give a shout out to George for that because he told me about that line being there after he listened to what I said on Spaces about round 1. So he found that line for me, but you can only put $100 on it, which is stupid. I would absolutely hammer that fucking line if I can. Literally max. It would be on my max bet. But yeah, you can only put 100. But round 1 has to be, Alves has a very high clip. But a very important thing, if you do bet Alves pre-fight, which I might still do, be ready to bet Dalby live. Just, looking at his cardio, evaluating the situation, saying, hey, this guy looks like he's dumping. Because Dalby does have good cardio. So, like Propaholic said, round 3 Dalby, I mean, I will never blame you for a late shot like that against a guy like Alves and a guy, Dalby has.
Yeah, it's more based on Worley than Dalby because Dalby does he breaks your heart in those situations typically. Yeah. I've done that before plenty of times. Like he's just he's just karate. He's like in and out. So like if he's winning the fight by that point, if he like here's the thing though, like how about this as an option? A possible draw in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I could see a 10-8. I could see a 10-8 happening in the first.
And then Dalby wins the second and third and doesn't finish.
Because Dalby is, I believe he's only been finished once, right?
Yes.
So it's not like he's easy to finish. So it's possible where he weasels his way out somehow and then he wins the next 2. The problem is like if Alves is at that point where he got a 10-8 and he's absolutely killing this guy, he probably gasses out and probably gets killed later.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. But yeah, I mean, that's not a bad look. Moving on. Fight number 4. It is in the lightweight division. It is Terrence McKinney with a 13-4 record going up against the 18-3 Ismail Bonfim. And I will kick this one off. I like what I see from Ismail Bonfim. I think the guy has nice hands, good boxing. I think he has a black belt in BJJ, so it's not like he doesn't know what's going on. Like he knows what he's doing on the ground. I think he's a very good boxer. He's got good combinations. He works the body. Like he has all that stuff. So like the trajectory for this guy, I think is pretty good. Like I think he can get some wins in the UFC. He's only 27 years old, so I think he can get there. He looked really good on Contender Series versus Abasov. He absolutely murdered that guy to the body, to the head, hurt him multiple times, just didn't finish. But like, this is a tough task, honestly, in his first fight, because he's never faced a guy like Terrence McKinney. Like, this guy is like, I think he's probably, if not the top guy in the UFC, top 3 for sure, most dangerous guy in the first 2 minutes of a fight, right? Like, he's going to absolutely come out and try to just kill you. No question about it. He hurt Dober really bad, and we know how durable Dober is, right? He hurt him multiple times, almost had him out of there. And then what does he do, Tim? He falls off the fucking cliff. This guy has terrible fucking cardio because of his pacing. Like, it's not like, maybe he has decent cardio, but you're not going to have good cardio if you do what he's doing. Like, he's going balls to the wall from the first second of the fight, right? He's going crazy, spinning shit. In his 13 wins, 12 of them have fucking came in the first round, right? Bonfim is very aggressive himself. It's not like he's coming forward in almost all of his fights. I just see chaos in the first round, but I'm going to have to side with Terrence McKinney here at KO1. It's plus 280. I don't think, I mean, I guess he can sub him with a club and sub, but I see it more so with a KO, man. This guy is very violent. And what he dished out to Drew Dober, 99% of the roster would be out of there. Do you agree? Like, who's going to survive that shit?
100%.
If he does that to Bonfim, zero chance Bonfim survives. He's done. So McKinney KO1 plus 280. It's a very generous number. I mean, that's his win condition, man. Like, I know he gets subs. I don't know if he's going to be able to sub this guy. This guy's really good on the ground. So give me KO1 plus 280. It's not a Lambo, but it's right there, guys. What do you got, Tim?
Well, I think first of all, I agree with most of what you said. The sub, I think, is more live than you think, because in my opinion, it's not from a technical standpoint. It's more from like just like you said, a chaos standpoint. Like, if he gets what Terrence does instant, like in every fight that he's been in, he's really in other than the pacing, he's an extremely intelligent fighter, because he strikes with guys that he should strike with, and he takes guys down that he should take down and wrestles. Like, once he gets position on guys in top and he uses his wrestling, he insta passes. Like, he's super athletic, and he's like, he gets to these positions and he passes from sheer athleticism and strength a lot of times, as well as his ground and pound is so fucking dangerous that guys go into a mode of like, all right, I have to defend this, and then he gets them. And I just feel like, add on top of the fact that I knew it was, I know it's like 2014 was the last time he got subbed by guys other than Moicano, but I just feel like a guy that's been subbed 3 times in his career and 3 of his losses by finishes are all by sub. I'm like, I'm not taking it out of the realm of possibility that Terrence can sub him in round 1. Like, you're getting plus 500 on it. That's all right. But I'm kind of with you. Like, I'll take the other side though. Like, that Bonfim lasts. And I think that these fights with Terrence are so great because you literally you have big enough lines that you can hedge on both sides, and you can play unders if you want. And it's like, I'm going to be playing both sides. I always do in this one. So if I want to make them better, I'll parlay it not with one other prop that I like, and I'll get an even better line. And it's just like, I feel like Terrence round 1 is just so obvious. It's like you said, the first 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, there's not a lot of guys in the UFC that you're going to say in any division that you're going to say they're going to get a finish and they're going to fight to get a finish as hard as he will. And he's dangerous both ways again. Like, he can kill you in either way. He can kill you with wrestling and grappling. He can kill you with one-shot power. So you got to love that. But the other side is like, you can't bet on a guy ever that has 3 minutes of cardio. And that wilts instantaneously when he gets hit once his cardio is dead. And it's like, you just can't bet these guys from a money line perspective. So it's really hard to do. So I love to just attack the props and love to say go with the violence props. I like round 2 for Bonfim is plus 750. If you want to cover it And if just in case he lasts, I don't think he does. But if he did, it would be round 3. It'd be plus 1,400. So those two connected for Bonfim's side. I love playing both sides on Terrence fights. It's just a much better way to go. And if you're going to bet Bonfim, don't bet him live. Just bet him after the first 2 minutes of the fight.
Yeah, I mean, McKinney is the quintessential kill or be killed fighter, guaranteed, or your money back. This guy is going to get killed or he's going to do the killing. It's just how he fights. And I think I read an interview with him, and he said he's coming to put on a show in Brazil. So whatever that means, that just means it's McKinney being McKinney, right? Like, it doesn't mean anything different. So, yeah, I see violence. You see violence. Honestly, Bonfim could probably get him out of there in the first, too. That's the scary part. Like, if you play 2-3,
yep.
I much prefer, I think, Tim, this is my opinion, and I don't know if you bet it yet. I much prefer Bonfim 1-2 than 2-3.
Yeah. What is his round 1? Is it like 3, little over 3? Because I'll switch. I'll switch. I agree with that.
Bonfim 1, anything or
yeah,
KO?
Yeah, anything.
Yeah, anything is 300.
Yeah, I'll do that instead of 2.
I mean, it got hammered. It was 450. It got hammered.
Yeah, I'll do that though. I agree with you. I think you could get him in the end of round 1. I think it's a safer play.
Yeah, round 3 kind of feels like if it gets there, then it's very like fucked
it could
up.
Go. Yeah, it could go.
Other distance, yeah. But yeah, let's move on. Fight number 5. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 12-1 Luan Lacerda versus the 25-1 Cody Stamen. Go ahead and kick this one off, Tim.
Yeah, I got Cody KO plus 400. He tends to do really well in smash spots, and this looks like a smash spot for him on the feet at least. I also feel like just the wrestling is just Lacerda's like sub or bust in this fight, and if the fight does hit the ground, he's got some greasy shit that he does. But I feel like the smart play for Cody would be to just counter wrestle and to make sure that the fight just stay at range and just piece the shit out of him on the feet, because the striking is pretty piss poor on the other side. So I feel like the KO is going to be there. Whether it's round 1 or round 2, I don't know, but I think it's going to be in the first 2 rounds. Plus, round 1 is KO is just plus 400. KO 1 is plus 850. KO 2 is plus 1,300. So those are all good looks. I think the fight stays standing. It doesn't. I think he's pretty aggressive on the feet enough to crack him and get him out.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that. Let me go over to the chat and just kind of answer a question here from Dar. He says, play both sides, predicting draws. What are we doing here? Okay, so Valdez, what we're doing is, it's not like we're playing both sides from a money line perspective. We're playing props on both sides. What that means is we're getting big plus money numbers, where if I play like a plus 280 and a plus 300 on each side, I'm going to come out on top if one of them lands. So we're not playing money line on each side. We're playing props on each side, because there is, that last fight is, we just know a fighter really well that tends to do well early. And if he doesn't do well early, he dies. And that's basically why we're doing what we're doing. So just to clear that up. But onto this Lacerda fight against Cody Stamen. I agree with you on the feet. I favor Stamen. He's got more power. He's got the better striking. Lacerda has decent kicks, and Lacerda is, honestly, he's the main sparring partner for Jose Aldo for a long time. So he does have a background. Like he's also, in case people don't know, he subbed Highland Paiva, a UFC guy, a pretty good UFC fighter. He's not like a bottom of the barrel one. So that's pretty impressive as well. So Lacerda has 12 wins, 11 by submission, and we were on Spaces, and I don't remember who it was, but from all accounts of people that they've talked to in Brazil and, all these other people, this guy's an absolute demon on the ground. He's very, very dangerous. I see a lot of it on tape. Like, he's always fishing for shit. And if he gets in the right positions, you're going to be in deep fucking trouble against this dude. I think that's his path. It's plus 600. Listen, I get that Cody Stamen, he's a very good wrestler. He's the way better wrestler here. But people are saying he's going to stay on the feet, but what's a wrestler's instincts though, Tim? Like he's probably going to get a takedown or two and maybe put himself in a bad position. And you're getting plus 600 against a guy that's supposedly a demon on the ground, and on tape it shows it. So I took a shot, man. Lacerda submission is plus 600. I feel like that's off because I think that's his win condition. So, yeah, give me Lacerda plus 600 by submission is how I'm going to go here. I do think Cody Stamen wins this fight, but I think Lacerda's live to get us up.
Yeah, I think that the thing with Cody with me is like he is pretty smart. I don't think if he watches Lacerda fight that he really like you said. I don't think that anybody that watches that guy fight and has a brain goes, "Oh, I want to go down to the ground with this guy." Like I understand that the wrestling. I understand that's his nature, but he also has shown in fights he didn't. I don't think he went for one takedown against Weiland, did he? Yeah, I just think there's certain spots where he just knows I'm way better on the feet against this guy, and I'm going to murder this guy and smash spots. He's typically like last one. I think the last fight against Weiland was so obvious to bet him by KO, and it was such a great line because he doesn't typically get him, and he does wrestle like you're saying. But man, I'm just basing it on the assumption of rational strategy here from him and tactics. That's obviously you never know what you're going to get with that.
Yeah, I mean, Mirab had a sub attempt on this guy. Jimmy Rivera had a sub attempt. Saeed got him.
So that was slick. Saeed's slick.
He's been giving some people opportunities. Like I know those guys are wrestlers, and they're gonna, Mirab can get you down easily. I'm not saying Lacerda is like some good wrestler or anything, but
Landon, that's dangerous. Finish only, Lacerda.
I wouldn't mess with that. I would, because I do think he can get knocked out too, because his striking just is not very good, especially his boxing. Like his kicking game is okay, but I don't like his boxing at all. Moving on. Fight number 6. It is in the heavyweight division. It is the 17-2 Jalton Almeida versus the 20-7 Shamil Abdul-Rahimov. And I will kick this one off. I mean, what are they doing here? Like what UFC, honestly, I got to say this. I don't know what anybody else thinks. They love this guy. I'm telling you right now. UFC loves fucking Jalton Almeida because they've given him Danilo Marcos, Parker Porter, and Anton Turkalij, and then 3 fucking times they have to give him Shamil Abdul-Rahimov. Like, why? Why did you rebook this fight 3 times? Like, is this some like great fight that they're trying to rebook? Or are they giving Jalton Almeida a layup? Like, honest to God, they're giving him a layup. It's in Brazil too. Like, Almeida by KO 1 is plus 325. I'm telling you guys, do yourself a favor. If there's one prop that I really like here, it's the round 1 KO plus 3. Shamil just wilts, dude. When you hit him, it's over. It's not like he's going to give up his neck. He's just not going to do anything. Just take punches and give up. Like, look at the last three fights. Like, he's been put out in all 3 of them, right? Two of them by ground and pound. And Jalton Almeida has nasty ground and pound when he wants to go. I know his instincts go for rear naked chokes and other types of chokes, but Shamir is the type of guy that just like, look at how many ground and pounds this guy has lost by. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the UFC, he's lost 4 ground and pounds. I think he's going to get he's going to get knocked out on the ground and pound, whatever, tap, whatever he wants to do, but he's going to get knocked out. And Almeida KO 1 plus 325. I really like that play. What do you have here, Tim?
Same thing. Not much to add except for the fact that if after the power double, then he gets him on his back. Shamil is like, he's like a turtle when he gets flipped over on its shell and it can't get back, and it's like trying to do that shit and needs to be saved. So I kind of lean with you on the KO as well on that.
Look at that. Look at what Landon said. He's a fat Wells who won't be able to turn over.
I beat you to it.
Exactly what you said, but he beat you to it.
Yeah, so I think that's just kind of his defense at that point. Definitely not split by this fight.
The only thing that's going to be split is Shamil's head. That's it.
This is actually like crazy, but I mean, I really rarely bet these type of bet props, but like the first like fight to end in the first couple minutes of this fight, like I just would not be shocked if he kills him in the first 2 minutes of this fight. Just just an instant takedown. He's going to instantly throw
one
him
takedown to like full mount. Imagine what,
and then just pound. And he could be the first 60 seconds. It could be one of those like, oh, we're just trying to give him that, you know.
I mean, does Shamil even want to be here anymore?
That's my point too. It's like it's going to look so bad. It's going to look so bad so quick. And I think like I might bet the first minute. I might bet the second minute. But I'm with you. KO 1 plus 300, good enough for me.
Dude, Shamil's withdrawn. Look at his fights. Like, it's hilarious. He's had 2 fights, right? And then before that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fucking fights fell through. Like, what is going on with this dude? Sometimes it's not his fault, but most of the time it's his fault. It's just funny. This guy, UFC, he's knocked out 3 times in a row. He's not even cut yet. Guess why he's there? To feed him to guys like Jalton Almeida, honestly. That's the only reason he's there. And Jalton, he's bulked up a little. He's up to 232. I wonder, someone was mentioning it. I wonder if he's just going to stick at heavyweight. Maybe have a fight with, I don't know. I don't know who to give this guy, but he's dangerous. Moving on. Fight number 7. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 13-0 Gabriel Bonfim versus the 11-2 Monir Lazez. Tim, kick it off.
Yeah, I think that Gabriel Bonfim is really dangerous in round 1. He's very front-loaded fighter. Tends to slow down in rounds 2 and rounds 3 a good amount. He's also I don't know. I'll ask you actually, what do you think on the takedown? If you think he's going to be trying to strike all fight, or if you think he's going to be going for some takedowns. What do you think in that?
He doesn't go for takedowns. I kind of mentioned it. Like, if you watch his tape, all the like subs are opportunistic subs where his opponents were grappling.
Correct.
And he happened to get him. So he's not really shooting double legs and single legs. He has a background in boxing. He has pro boxing fights. He's boxed all his life. He's like a Brazilian champion or whatever. Like, he has a boxing. Him and his brother have boxing backgrounds. That's how, like we said, you go back to your base most of the time, right? Like, we were talking about Cody. Like, same thing with these guys. Like, they're boxers. They're not fucking grapplers. They have a black belt in BJJ, but they're boxers. And on their tape, you see it. Like, they throw good combinations. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, I like the Munir side on this fight. I think if it is standing, I think he's a better technical striker. I think if he can stay away from the power shots from Bonfim, he's going to win. I think that it could be. Oh, man, I'm torn between 2-3 or points and split. I'm going to go with points and split. I think that we talk about this all the time. Guys that haven't been finished yet, and we're betting violence props against him all the time. So I'm going to go on that lean. I'm not super confident on it, but I'm going on the basing it on data that we've actually seen, and this guy not being finished yet. So I'll go Munir by points, and we'll say that the greasy crowd and the one of the judges is trying to get it wrong. And so you got points for plus 390, and the split is 12-1 on Munir.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad look. Like from earlier spaces, whatever. I love Munir Lazez in this spot. Not that there's any shade I'm throwing at Bonfim. I think he's a good fighter. He's got good combinations, power in his strikes. He's got a BJJ black belt on the ground. I mean, he's good. He's good all around. Where he's not very good is defensively. He does get hit a lot. Trey Waters, was touching him up a little bit in the Contender Series. And Trey Waters is very, very green. Like, I know he's a striker. He's long, but he's a green fighter. And he was landing on Bonfim. Brenner Alberth, like a couple of fights ago, 3 fights ago. Brenner Alberth is like BJJ black belt. Like that's all he does is grapple, right? Brenner Alberth dropped Bonfim pretty bad in the second round. Almost had him out of there, to be honest. Like if there was maybe another 30 seconds, he might have got Bonfim out of there. Munir Lazez, like technically speaking, is like the all-around better striker. His boxing is probably not better, but his kicks are better. His knees are better. His elbows are better. You know, his defensively, he's better. And I do think he has power in his strikes. Like his knees are nasty, man. Those knees up the middle are nasty. Go look at his Tapology photo and look at that knee. That's what he throws. Literally, he throws those knees, those step-in knees. They're nasty, man. And as aggressive as Bonfim is, he might end up eating one of those coming forward. The other thing is, his cardio to me is not really good, man. He slowed down a lot in the Alberth fight. And, those were 3-minute rounds. Those were not 5-minute rounds in the LFA because it was like a tournament style fight. So he was really slowing down there in the third round. Before that, I mean, he's fought a bunch of cans, like complete cans, when I say, and that's being nice. Lazez has faced some tough opponents in the UFC. Al Hassan is a good fighter. Like Warley Alves, he destroyed him with the body kicks. I read a thing where he had a broken rib. Like, yeah, you're gonna get stopped. He ate some nasty body kicks and got hit in the liver. So, yeah, Angelusa, like he destroyed Angelusa in that fight, striking, right? He couldn't get him out of there, but Angelusa is very hard to get out of there. It's the same guy. I know people don't really like Angelusa, but that's the same guy that fucking took 1 round off of Madalena, right? And Madalena looks like he's a killer right now. So, like, I really like Munir Lazez. The only thing I don't like is the age. He's 35, going up against a 25-year-old. So there's a 10-year gap. But Munir Lazez is, to me, like a young 35. He doesn't have, like, a lot of fights. He's 11-2. He hasn't really been in a ton of wars. So it's not like I see this guy like, oh, he's 35, he's falling off a cliff. No, I think he's kind of like a young 35 in fighting years. So I like Lazez here. I'm going to take a shot round 3, Tim. Plus 1,900. He's got the better cardio, man, in my opinion, by a long shot. And he comes on in round 3. Like, he almost had Angelusa out of there. Like, he was throwing some nasty combinations in that third round. And I think if he does exactly what he did in the Angelusa fight, in this fight in the third round, I think he puts away Bonfim. So give me round 3, Munir Lazez, plus 1,900.
I was so close to saying KO and 2-3. I was telling you before I did my prediction. I was so close. But yeah, I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I like Lazez in general in this spot. I think he's plus 140 now, and I got plus whatever, 160, 170. Honestly, in my wholeheartedly believe that this line should be completely flipped. He should be minus 165, 170, 180. It
goes to like what Dar was asking earlier, what you made the comment on. It's like how, in order to battle props and to do what we do in this and not think money lines, you legit have to break your brain down in so many different ways and think of a fight not just in a binary way. You have to like see it completely different. And what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? And you put a percentage on one of these outcomes. So in my mind, it's like the KO 2-3 for Munir is definitely an outcome that I think is really, really viable. And it's like 40-45 or 40-60 in my mind of like his paths to win this fight are, a close decision that one judge in Brazil tries to give it to Bonfim, and Bonfim is just tough to finish. And we're like, okay, this is one of the ways this go and you get the points. Or like you're saying that maybe Bonfim isn't, and maybe he just doesn't react well. And I kind of go like 60-40 to the points and to the split. So that's where I'm leaning that way. But it's not always like we're leaning and we're hammering this like last week with Nascimento. That to me was like a 90% bet where I'm hammering that bet. And I'm hammering, I think it's happening in round 1. I think it's, it's just there's certain fights where you have significantly more confidence in what the prop line is, and then there's other times where it's very, very hairy. Like the Nunez fight earlier with Farren. Like I legit think most of my body thinks that Nunez knocks her out, but at the same time, the lines are shit. Only if you can get 2 or 3 and I don't think it's 3, but I think it would be 2. It's like the lines are way, way, way off. So you have to figure different ways to get at it. So sorry for the long-winded explanation, but I just to like to explain kind of way we think about that.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate that. 70 of you in here. Wow. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. We're rocking and rolling, and we're moving on to fight number 8. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 16-6 Thiago Moises versus the 19-5 Melquizael Costa. And I can kick this one off. What do I always say, Tim? There's levels to this game, man. There's levels to this game. And Costa is, a pretty good fighter, like good striker. I really like his striking. I like his cardio. I like his pressure. He's looked good. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't mind this guy as a prospect, like later on. But he tends to mess around on the ground a lot. And, Italio Gomez was on the ground. They were a bunch of times. They're scrambling on the ground. He's messing around down there. He's been subbed before. And now he's facing an absolute savage on the ground if he gets down there. And Thiago Moises, really, really high level, black belt on the ground. I don't know if this kid was going to survive. Maybe he survives early, Tim. Maybe he survives round 1 when he's fresh and everything, but come round 2 and it gets on the ground again. I don't think this guy's going to survive. And when you look at Moises, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 out of his like 6 or 7 subs are in round 2. So Moises submission round 2 plus 800. I'm going very specific here because I think he is going to get the sub eventually. I like this guy Costa, like I said, but guys, there's levels to this game, and Moises is levels above this kid right now. So give me Moises submission 2 plus 800. What do you have, Tim?
Thiago sub 1, Thiago sub 2. I actually agree with you tenfold. This is like the fight I was just talking about with the breakdown of like confidence in picks. This is like an 80-20. Very, very like 3/4 of the time I'm thinking are 75%, 80% here. This is what happens. Just the only thing that wouldn't is if Thiago just decides that he wants to stand and bang, or just stand and beat him up on the feet, which would be stupid. It's just a kind of like you said. There's just levels. There's nothing more to add other than that. And once this fight hits the ground, I think he's dead. So it's pretty much. I actually kind of like. It's the only question in my mind is between round 1 and round 2 is the wrestling, and like how aggressive he is wrestling and how much he wants to get the fight to the ground. I honestly feel like he would almost like allow a takedown and then just reverse himself as well if he wanted to. So yeah, same props. Thiago sub 1 plus 410, Thiago sub 2 plus 800 are really good looks.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I always say there's levels to this game. Costa is good regionally. I don't know how good he's going to be in the UFC. He's still young. How old is this guy? Let me see. Yeah, he's 26, so he's still young. He's up against it, though, man. Short notice. Thiago Moises. He looked in spectacular shape, by the way, on the scales. Yeah, I mean, I like Moises by sub 2 here. Moving on. Fight number 9. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 13-4 Gregory Rodriguez versus the 9-0 undefeated Bruno Ferreira. Tim, what do you like?
Man, this is another one of those with RoboCop where like you watch his tape and then you look at his fights and shit and you're like, God, this guy's a killer on the ground. He's got such good jiu-jitsu. And then he goes for the dumbest, like, what is the stretch on Petrosian? He just take his neck. It's over. he doesn't like really try to get to the grappling. He doesn't really try to wrestle very much. So as much as I like had submission on the line, I'm like, oh well, it's gonna be submission. I'm like, fucking don't do that. Like it's like certain type of props that it's like what is the Diakese by sub, where you just don't let me bet it anymore. You know, you just say stop, Tim. You just got to stop right now. This is that one. I'm not going to bet RoboCop by sub this time. I am going to say that RoboCop finishes him in round 2, kind of cover both bases. I do think that there's a chance that round 1 might get hairy, and he might go into the, you know, he tends to just get his ass kicked for a little bit before he turns it on people. And I'm not too high on the other side. I do, but I think that he does have some power. And I think that it's possible that it goes a little bit hairy in the first round, or maybe he does play a little bit safer. So I'll take a shot on. I like that idea too, Pepe. Yeah. I'll take a shot on round 2 for RoboCop at plus 600. I think it's a good shot. I think he finishes him probably round 1, but I'm just taking a shot on the better number, and it's not a Lambo in round 1.
Yeah, I mean, I love RoboCop. His fights are like extremely exciting. Every single fight, it's a fucking absolute war. Like, you know, last fight out, Chitty, I mean, bleeding, busted up everywhere, back and forth fight. You know, Marquez, he absolutely destroyed, but Petrosian, same shit, back and forth. Jung Young Park, same shit. Like, you go on and on with this guy, and it's like war after war after war. And like, like I said, I love Rodriguez. I think he wins here. He's a really, really good fighter. I mean, his striking has come a long way. It's looked really, really good of late. But what have you seen like from him over and over again? Like, he tends to get into wars. He gets rocked. What does Bruno Ferreira do well, Tim? He knocks people the fuck out. Like, this
Early.
guy's 9-0. I mean, he's got a ton of power in his hands. He's putting guys to sleep. And if I know any better, like, he's probably going to stand there and try to fucking swing RoboCop. And I think this guy, not that I'm going to say this guy's going to knock out RoboCop, but he's live to possibly knock him out. I think that's his path early on. KO1 is plus 900 for this guy. Why? Why the fuck is he plus 900? Like, this guy, all his power is early. If you look at his knockouts, yeah, he has, you know, 2 second-round knockouts, but against absolute cans. Like, his last 3 fights, all in the first round. I think this is going to be an absolute war in the first round. I like the under, you know, a good bit in this fight. I don't know what it's sitting at. Oh, damn, it's got juiced. It's up to 200 now. So I like the under, man. This fight's going to be an absolute war. And every fight with Rodriguez is a war. And this guy can hit. I mean, he's got power in his hands. It's plus 900. I mean, why not take a shot? Like, that's his path, I believe. And
yeah, that's such a great point. Like, if you're on money line for RoboCop, or you're betting him at all, or you parlaying him or anything like that, you have to like hedge just slightly on that play, I would say, because that's just like, you don't have to bet a ton on it, but 5% of your bet, 5% of your stake on that at 9-1, and you should at least get a little bit back. I think that you're 100% right. His win condition is in the first 5 minutes bonking him.
Like, here's the thing. They have his round 1 prop, right? If you look at his round 1 prop for Ferreira, it's plus 650 is the best line on FanDuel. But then they're giving you, you know, 250 points on KO. Like, this fucking guy's going to sub Gregory Rodriguez. You fucking kidding me? So yeah, I just think there's a lot of value in the KO prop, round 1 in general, on Ferreira. But I think he loses. Like, Gregory Rodriguez is on a nice trajectory up. And on every Gregory Rodriguez fight, we can't forget to mention that this guy is only 30 years old, Tim. He's young. He's 30.
He's 30, and he was our president for 8 years.
Yes, he's 30. He was our president for 8 years, and he looks like he's 60, but somehow he's 30. But yeah, moving on. Next fight of the night, we are in fight number 10. It is in the light heavyweight division. It is the 27-13-1 Mauricio Shogun Hua versus the 18-3 Ihor Potieria. And I can kick this one off. I kind of mentioned I like overs in this fight. I like the over 1.5. I think Shogun is like not throwing many strikes of late. He looks extremely slow. He looks like he needs to retire, basically, right? And what do they go do? They go to Brazil. It's his last retirement fight. And who they give him? They probably give him one of the worst light heavyweights on the roster in Ihor Potieria. So I know the UFC is telling him, here, try to get a win. We gave you the absolute worst guy we can give you, right? So you can get a W. I don't know if he can get the W, to be honest. I think Potieria is so much faster. He just like the cleaner striker at this point. Like Shogun looks so slow, old. But I do think this fight is going to go over, right? I think actually it might go to decision, right? And you know what happens in a decision in the retirement fight for Shogun? Yes, you guessed it. A robbery. So give me split decision on this fight. It's plus 900. I think a robbery is in store if this goes to decision. Maybe Shogun wins a decision. I just think it's going to be close no matter what. I don't think Shogun's going to proactively grapple and get a bunch of takedowns. Like, I honestly don't see that at this point in his career, man. This guy is like really old. Even when you watch, like, who is that old man he fought? Let me look. Oh,
OSP?
Rogerio Nogueira.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, man. This was like, it was Rock'em Sock'em Robots. You know, and Rogerio was like probably 45. Well, how old is this guy? Hold on. I got to look at it. 46 now. Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, man, I kind of have a feeling Potieria is going to win. I hope he doesn't knock him out because I have over 1.5. Yeah, split decision for me, Tim. What do you have?
Yeah, same. End split and then get greasy. If you're going end split, you have to play 16-1 on Shogun. You have to.
Yeah, I think if it goes split, most likely the winner of the split is Shogun. Just my opinion.
I would be shocked. But I mean, obviously, you have the 9-1. You play both. You play the 9-1 on end split, and then you take the small stab on the 16-1 on the. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Exactly. Yep. Let's move on. Fight 11. It's again in the light heavyweight division. It is the 16-5-1 Paul Craig versus the 19-7 Johnny Walker. Tim, your turn.
I've got, I mean, god damn. Walker's such a scary chin that I would not be shocked if Paul Craig knocked him out with some bullshit, but I'm not going to say that. I do think my pick is going to be Walker and bonks him in round 1 or round 2, plus 200 KO1. That's a tricycle play, and KO2 is plus 500. I think eventually his athleticism and his striking, he catches him, maybe a knee, maybe something like that. But I do not want to have a lot of money on this fight. I would not be shocked if Walker like knocked him down and then actually jumped into his guard and gets subbed. He's just one of those kind of fighters where you just never know what the fuck you're going to get. So my prediction would be, my pick would be Walker KO1 plus 200, KO2 plus 500, but not a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I like Walker here. I think he's gonna spark Craig here. It's KO1 is most likely where it's gonna happen. It's plus 225, like you said. It's a tricycle, or maybe a little bit better than a tricycle, but yeah. I mean, there's not much I could find here. Like, if you like the Craig side, obviously. You should be betting that submission at plus 300. I just don't see him winning minutes, man. Like, what's winning minutes look like for this guy? It's not like he's a good grappler. He can't, like, when I say good grappler, like good wrestler, like, I don't know how he gets this fight to the ground.
Lou Betcha said something funny as hell on Twitter. He said that he's 9-2 in fights that he's lost.
What is it?
He said that Craig is 9-2 in fights that he's lost.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, though, like this guy, like, pulls shit out of his ass every single time. Like, how many late round submissions this guy have. Like, so yeah, I mean, I really think this guy is going to get knocked out here against Walker. I think he's explosive. He's huge for the division. Even if he kind of like attempted to take, how the fuck is he going to take Walker down? Like, Walker's gigantic, dude. Like, I don't think he's going to have success taking Walker down, even if he tries. And if he gets into that clinch, like, Walker's pretty nasty in the clinch. He's got very good knees, very good elbows. I think he's going to absolutely spark this guy. So, yeah, KO1 for me, plus 225. Johnny Walker. Not the biggest confidence, but I do think he knocks out Paul Craig. Moving on, fight number 12. It is in the strawweight division. It is the 23-9 Jessica Andrade versus the 16-5 Lauren Murphy. And I will kick this one off. It's kind of been like a weird theme for me on this card. There's a lot of violence, right? I'm going back to it, man. Andrade, KO1, plus 450. I get that Lauren Murphy's tough. I know she's, never really been knocked out like that. It was mostly ground and pound from Shevchenko. But go up and down and look who she's fought. Name me one of those girls that hits as hard as Jessica Andrade. Like, Shevchenko, like, I don't think she's a power striker. She's a volume striker, and she has good ground and pound. But name me one of those girls that's anywhere near Jessica Andrade's power. None. And to top it off, Lauren Murphy's 39 years old, okay? She's not young. She takes a ton of shots on the feet, right? She walks forward, and she's tough. But against who? Misha Tate? Or Roxanne Modafferi? Or, like, which one of these girls has... Like, if she eats those shots against Andrade, she's going to absolutely go to sleep. So, give me Andrade, KO1, plus 450. What do you have here, Tim?
KO1, KO2, 450 plus 700, same feel. I agree 100% with even though Shevchenko beat the living shit out of Jessica Andrade and she bullied the living shit out of her, she's not fighting her. But and it doesn't mean that that Valentina punches harder than she does. She just ragdolled her. I feel I agree with you that this punch power and the absolute bonkability, one shot, one hitter quitter power is clearly on the Andrade side. So I bet Valentina by violence in that fight. I had inside the distance huge, and I had I remember I had early rounds, and I was just yelling at the screen. I'm like, "What are you doing?" She doesn't, like you said, she doesn't typically go after people unless she has a clear advantage or catches somebody with a kick or something, right? And that's actually what she did with Murphy. So yeah, I feel like that's what started the barrage. So I agree with you. I think KO1, KO2 are really good looks for Andrade. And if you're on the Murphy side, the split for her is 22-1. That's the only. I don't see her winning any other way. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Misha Tate landed a bunch against her,
because she has to come into the pocket, right? She uses her jab, but she really wants exchanges in the pocket, right?
Yeah, I think she's gonna KO her. To be honest, I have a unit and a half on her KO at plus 170, I believe I got, but I think she knocks out Lauren Murphy. 39 years old, taking a bunch of punishment lately. She just hasn't faced power punchers. It's probably the reason why she hasn't been knocked out. Now she's going to get knocked out. That's just my opinion. But I think Jessica Andrade absolutely destroys her. Moving on. Fight number 13. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 20-5 Gilbert Burns versus the 27-9 Neil Magny. And Tim, this is all yours.
Well, I feel like you said earlier, I think that there's some levels to certain fights, and I feel like there's levels to this fight. Neil Magny is a lot. He's going to win fights by just gritty decisions, and he's going to lose fights by getting finished. a very, very good amount of the time. He won his last fight by, finishing D-Rod, but I thought that was like a little bit more D-Rod kind of gassing than anything Neil did. But Neil, credit to him, but I don't think that that's typically the way that he finishes fights. He doesn't usually win by finishes, right? So he's got like 57% takedown defense. I think Max Griffin knocked him down in his fight. All just complete bonk. He's getting bonked more and more and more. I like inside the distance for Burns, but I'll take a shot on the sub prop because I feel like if he gets him down on the ground, I feel like the sub is going to be there. So I'll take sub 1 is plus 500, sub 2 is plus 900. I feel like it's going to happen earlier. He does kind of gas. Burns does kind of gas a little bit. He did fight like absolute maniac against Chimaev, but that's like an outlier performance for him from a durability standpoint and a cardio standpoint. He usually does not perform like that. So if you're expecting that kind of beast all 15, I think you'll be disappointed. But he does have a solid 8, 9-10 minutes to go at it really, really hard. So I do think he finishes him in the first 2 rounds. I would not be shocked if he bonked him, but I'm going to go with the submission early. So sub 1 plus 500, sub 2 plus 900.
All right. So I had written down sub here, but I'm going to go a little bit different. I'm going to go with a different play, and I'm going to bank on Neil Magny kind of surviving early, putting on the volume on Burns and the old Burns showing up, the guy that gasses a lot, right? Because he proactively grappled, but he didn't get the submission, and Magny made him work, and he got back up, and he landed on him. So Magny decision is plus 600. I think that's his path. I know you're going to say if you want to get greasy, take the split at plus 2,000. I mean, that's also possible, but I'm just going to go with the plus 600 Magny decision. I think it's live, honestly. If he doesn't get finished early, I mean, I trust Magny more in round 3, to be honest, like historically, right? Because Burns just gasses out a lot. Like you said, that fight against Chimaev was an outlier to me. Like, he never looks like that fresh, in the third. Or I'm sorry, was that 3? Yeah, in the third. Like, he never looks like that in the third. So I'm going to go with Magny decision. It's plus 600. Not something I really love because, like I said, I had written down submission for Burns at plus 230. I think it probably happens early. But yeah, like I wouldn't hate taking a shot on Magny plus 600 by decision. Moving on, it is the co-main event of the night. It is in the flyweight division. It is the 21-2-1 Davison Figueiredo versus the 26-2 Brandon Moreno for the 4th damn time. I will kick this one off, Tim. I mean, like, what is there to play here? Like, is there any other way to play this? Seriously, like, we've seen iterations like 3 different times of these guys fighting. It's usually always close outside of like the one where Moreno finished him, right? Where Figueiredo just looked like absolute shit coming into that fight. Anyways, it wasn't himself. He looked absolute dog shit in that fight. But outside of that, like, these guys are pretty close, right? The line is lined like these guys are pretty close. It's minus 125, plus 105, hovering around there. Split decision on these guys for both of them, right? Not one, is plus 500. It's in Brazil. We have to keep mentioning that because I do think judges are going to favor a little bit on the Figueiredo side. Yeah, man, like I said, plus 500 split decision here. Like, these guys fight close, man. Like, I don't know what to say. Yeah, I mean, it is. Like, I don't know what else to say in this spot because I kind of lean Moreno. He's the younger fighter. I feel like he's the more consistent fighter that shows up in every one of his fights because kind of Figueiredo is like, oh, I don't know his weight. I don't know this. He's kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde type of guy. So I favor Moreno a little bit, but I'm just not too confident on the side. I think these guys are very close. I rather just play the split decision, honestly. I think this fight ends in split at plus 500 is not a bad bet.
Yeah, I have the same play. Obviously, that's what put it up. I feel like, if you want to take a shot on Figgy, he's 11-1. Moreno's 10-1 on those props. Those are really, really good for this type of fight. Is it possible that, I kind of look at this. I mean, I kind of throw away the second fight. I know it's hard to do that. I'm not doing it from a result standpoint. I'm doing it more from a capping standpoint. I just feel like it was a completely different, a shell of a version of Figueiredo than even his worst days. I thought that was like his worst fight that he's pretty much ever been, he's ever shown us. So I'm kind of like throwing that out as an outlier performance from him. And then the other two performances, every fight I had bet on Figgy, just not bet, but like picked him to win the fight. And I feel like the first and the third fight that he was winning the first fight pretty clearly in my mind before the point deduction. I feel like every fifth round, even though most people consider that he's the gassier one, that he's won the fifth round in the fights that got there. And I feel like he's the more dangerous fighter. So, it's just one of those things like, you're in Brazil. So it's like, I mean, these are all big factors of if this fight goes, even if Brandon is the UFC's boy and they want him to win, this could be super, super greasy either way. And you have volume versus power and minutes versus moments. And it's just so fucking hard to judge. And we talk about it like literally every week. So if this fight goes, I think it's super, super close and having a fight ends in split at plus 500 and having a ticket on either one of these guys at double digits is sweet.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Before we move on to the main event of the night, I do want to thank 73 of you in here still watching. Thank you very, very much. Hit that like, hit the subscribe to my channel, please. Comment, do whatever you need to do to push this up. And I really appreciate all of you. Thank you very, very much. And we'll take some questions here. Figgy looked like a legit skeleton at 35. Yeah, I mean, 35, that's another thing. Like, I didn't even mention it, but cutting to this weight class at 125 at 35 years old, it's probably not good for your body. So
he looks full-blown AIDS. Yeah, he looks full-blown AIDS. He looks like he's got full-blown AIDS.
It's not looking good for him. Watch the weigh-ins for the third fight back-to-back with this. Figgy definitely looks like he had a bad cut. Yeah, I mean, he probably did, Luke. Figgy's definitely the proven fighter, in my opinion, in the second fight. So if he had a bad cut, I don't see how Figgy isn't the A side here other than a weight cut. I don't know, man. It's a close fight. It's a close fight. But yeah, let's move on to the main event of the night. It is in the light heavyweight division. It is the 33-8 champion Glover Teixeira versus the 11-1 challenger Jamal Hill. Tim, your turn, buddy.
So I think it's going to be War Glover here. Give me some War Glover in round 1 or round 2. I feel like if he gets a takedown in the first 1 or 2 takedowns in the first 2 rounds, should be what it should take. The Thiago Moises fight, Thiago Santos fight versus Hill is just such a humongous red flag to me. And again, like these fights are like, extremely binary. Like it's not. Hill needs this fight to be on the ground. Way more than Glover needs the fight to be on the ground, like, or standing. Like Glover can hang standing. It's like there's a lot of the takes this week that I'm hearing like Glover's dead on the feet, and he's like, dude, he just fucking lasted with Yuri for 5 fucking rounds and decked him in the 5th round. And if he wouldn't have done the all-time caveman move of the year, he would be holding the fucking belt if he doesn't pull Gilly in that situation. He just keeps punching him. So like I just can't stand like the Glover can't strike takes that I hear this week, that he's just going to be just fucking murdered on the feet. And I'm not saying that he won't get bonked. And he clearly is slow. He's clearly is older. He can be hit. He always gets hurt in fights, and then he usually comes back. So I am banking on that fact, and I'm banking on the fact that a guy with 0 knees took down and held down Hill 6 times, and is not a great wrestler. So, and doesn't proactively do it a lot. So I think that if 1 or 2 times in those same situations, and I don't even think it's sub. I don't think it always thinks it's sub. I think he could be ground and pound. He's super dangerous either way. So give me round 1 plus 600. Give me round 2 plus 800. If you want to, if it slips to round 3, it's plus 1200. So I think he kills him in one of the first 3 rounds, and it's War Glover, and he gets him down on the ground. So.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with your takes. Like, if he gets it down on the ground, I think Hill is in big trouble. I do think he's going to give Glover a lot of problems on the feet. He is a southpaw, right? And he's got some long ass arms. He's got some long strikes. I mean, he's pretty technical on the feet. I like his striking. He's got a nasty straight left hand. And honestly, Glover, I love the guy. He's 43 years old. But, man, he's taken a lot of fucking punishment. And the cliff is coming, Tim. I'm not kidding. There's a cliff. And when you fall off hard down that cliff. It's not like one of those – it's a very, very steep cliff at this age. And, I mean, I can't feel confident in backing a 43-year-old guy now at this point in his career. I know there's levels to the grappling, but it's a bigger cage. The difference between Yuri and Jamal Hill is Jamal Hill is not as reckless as Yuri is to get taken down and stuff. I understand Thiago Moises took him down, but Thiago Moises to me is a lot more. Thiago Santos is a lot more of a threat on the feet than Glover in the sense that his power is big. He can knock anybody out. So he did. Another thing is I don't think Hill expected Santos to grapple like that. To be honest, he did stuff all of his takedowns in the first round when I watched it, if I remember correctly. But then he got him down, I think, in the first and third or second and third or whatever. Another thing is, I'm sorry about the mistake I made. I'm like, oh yeah, Glover the champion against the challenger. It's interim. It's an interim title. So I don't want that people to think that there's a champion here. There isn't a champion. They're fighting for the interim belt. But yeah, I mean, I like Hill by knockout, man. Knockout round 1. I think it comes early. It's plus 390. Glover's showing he's getting hurt over and over and over again. I know he's surviving, but until when? He got dropped against Thiago Santos. He's getting hurt in almost every single fight, right? I think when Jamal Hill hurts you, he's a sniper of a finisher. The thing is, when Yuri hurts you, yeah, he's a very good finisher, but he's wild. He's very wild in his finishing sequences. While Jamal Hill, I think, has more precision with his strikes when he's trying to finish you. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think he's the more precise striker. So give me Jamal Hill, KO1, plus 390 is how I'm going to go here. And yeah, that's all 15 fights, Tim. Went through each and every one of them.
That Yuri fight that's the only thing that does scare me off of Glover is the Yuri taking the beat down from Yuri. It's that like you're saying, the prolonged and the steady, you just keep adding these beatdowns over and over and over. It becomes easier to knock these guys out. But I too many times people have said with Glover, it's just the same thing. Oh, he's going to get bonked by Jan. It's oh, he's going to get bonked by Yuri. Oh, he's going to get bonked by Thiago. And he's he does. He gets bonked. He gets hit by all of them. And then fucking A, man, the guy just keeps fighting. So why not? Why not War Glover one more time in Brazil? Why not?
I mean, Antonio, sparring against Ferreira is not the same I mean, you're not going. It's hard.
Ferreira is not allowed to hit him with a left.
Yeah, they're not. He's not.
Not
if you
allowed.
think Ferreira was absolutely trying to knock him out, you're dead wrong.
Glover wears the red shirt that quarterbacks wear in practice that they're not allowed to be touched, and the huge helmet that they're wearing.
like you can't look past the fact that he gets rocked in every fight. Like, if you watch his fights, he gets rocked in every fight.
Yep.
Not saying he's going to be scared of Hill, but he's going to probably get touched up by Hill, and I think Hill has a lot of power.
That's the side. It's the Dober argument too, though. He does get knocked out and he does get bunked, but he just gets concussed in a fight that he keeps fighting and can finish guys, and he can fight while being concussed. And so yeah, I just think that's those guys that can fight while being concussed, that have those granite chins. And if he does get, like, if Hill gets into a position where he bonks him and then goes in for the kill, that's the exact time that Glover will try to go for a takedown. So it's like, it's just such a good, like, stylistically, it's such a great matchup. So I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I mean, it is a great matchup. And Arthur says, don't forget KSW's today, my hometown. I will be there. Yes, my friend, I have a lot of bets on KSW. I have some big bets, and I'll go over them right now since you guys are here. I have Radislav Pachuski versus Tomas Romanowski. I took Radislav Pachuski for 3.15 units at two different prices, minus 115, minus 120. World-class kickboxer, really, really good kickboxer. Going up against a guy that's a punching bag that comes forward is tough, but toughness is not going to work out here. I think he's going to get possibly stopped in this fight. But, yeah, I like Pachuski. I also have a bet on Valeru Mirko at plus 145 for 1 unit against Boris Mankowski. I also have a unit and a half on Raul Tutaruli at minus 145. And I also have a 1.3 unit bet on Sahil Siraj. So, yeah, those are all my bets for KSW. Yeah. Jack, thank you. I appreciate it. Mr. Jingle says Hill will not be sparring. He will be killing. Exactly. Daz, I really appreciate you. You're welcome, brother. Thank you for being here. George says Shogun and Glover both losing. I can't. Hey, it's going to happen at some point. I mean, Glover, maybe not now. Shogun has... Like Shogun, I don't know. Shogun, they're giving him like the best possible matchup. So if he doesn't win this, he needs to retire anyway. So it's like, yeah, I know, but I love those podcasts more than sleep. Oh, someone's telling him he's drunk. He's supposed to go to sleep. Appreciate you, brother. Thundernuts, didn't Yuri vacate the title? Yeah. I made a mistake. Sorry. Do either one of you have a favorite pick for this card to go along with your Lambo parlays? Tim? Favorite pick?
My favorite pick would be the Moises by sub.
When you say favorite pick, I'm assuming just anything.
And money line, or is he? What is he? I'm sorry.
I'm
assuming, my favorite Lambo.
I'm assuming just your favorite pick. Maybe it's your favorite Lambo. My favorite Lambo play, I will tell you, is Almeida KO KO1 plus 325. That's definitely my favorite one.
Those are 1 and 1A for me.
Yep. Antonio, Tim, do you have any AO picks for today? What's AO, Tim?
Oh, Australian Open. I do not. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
He does not. Pascal Rochin says Glover was the right side last 3 fights at fantastic odds, but Jamal Hill minus 135 to me is too beautiful a pass. Fighters 10 years younger. Yeah. I mean, that's a legit stat right there. Fighters 10 years younger win at a 71% clip. And there's a reason for that, right?
You're muted.
No, the older fighters have taken more beatings. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that. And this guy not only is older, I mean, he's fucking 43 years old, and he's been in war after fucking war after fucking war. Like, it doesn't stop with this guy. So at some point, you're going to be done. You're going to fall off a cliff. And I honestly think this is the point where Glover falls off a cliff. And I won't be surprised. I won't be shocked if he lays his gloves down, if he gets knocked out. I won't be shocked. It's in his hometown. He fought like a warrior and won the title at 40 in his 40s. Like, he's done everything he needs to do in his career. Why come back if you get knocked out? Why come back? Like, are you going to really run for the title again? I don't think so. Not at that age. So
I did look up an Australian Open player too for women real quick. Elena Rybakina versus Iga, who's the number 1 seed. She's plus 340 dog. The last time she played, she fucking murdered her. So that's definitely, she's a live dog. And then Coco Gauff is minus 390 against Ostapenko. Coco Gauff has been like on fire, and she could easily shit the bed in a big moment. And Ostapenko's a past Grand Slam champ that plays really big. So she's another dog that they could win the first sets against these guys, and then you have a chance to arb off at even money.
All right, there you go. Even AO plays. By the way, Tim, Mushroom didn't come in here today.
I noticed that.
Now that he's been on a show with Lou, now he thinks he's big shit. You see it, right? He doesn't need to come in our show anymore. I got him. All right. All the times we gave him those Lambo parlays, but now we're going to give it to Landon. Do you have one yet? Because I have one fired up if you don't.
Go ahead.
Okay. Lambo parlay. Ready. Almeida, KO1 plus 325. McKinney, KO1 plus 280. And then Hill, KO1 plus 390. I think it's 78 to 1 on that one. So all KO1s, a lot of violence on this card. That's where I'm going. If you don't like Hill, KO1, you can switch it out with Walker, KO1. I like that one too. So,
all right.
I'm going to do both. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love those. Do Cody by KO, Jess by KO, Andrade, Moises by sub, and Burns by sub is 124 to 1. That's the aggressive one. And the conservative one is Cody KO, Bonfim KO, Jailton KO, and that's 51 to 1.
Which Bonfim?
Bonfim versus McKinney.
Okay, so Cody KO, Bonfim KO, and who else?
Jailton
KO.
Yep. I should just do Jailton KO 1 there, but it.
No, you could do KO.
Yeah, I'll just do KO.
I do have. That's funny that you say that because I have some Jailton KO 2. You want to know what the KO 2 is? Plus 17.
Yeah, 17.
Yeah. 17 to 1. It's crazy. Like, I had to take a shot. Like, it's not like this guy can't KO him in the second round if he survives.
Yep.
But yeah, that's about it. We went through everything. Author says I had opening odds for, I don't know what the heck he's talking about. Oh, he's talking about KSW. I had opening odds for material. Let me look at that because, yeah, I didn't really look at the main event because Kendall Grove is a bum. So probably under 2.5 is good. I don't have over unders on Bet Online for those. So if you do, that's good. I don't have them here. Bet Online doesn't have the. Oh, actually, they do now, I think. Wait, no, they don't. No, they don't. It's only Betway that has it, and I don't have Betway. But yeah, let me look at your plays. Under 2.5, I don't know. Kizanik with Doises, yeah. Kizanik with Doises under 2.5 is good because Doises fights like a spaz. Yeah, those are not bad. I mean, the first fight under 2.5, the main event, it's Kendall Grove probably gets finished. So. Yeah. Thank you, Nick. We appreciate you. Tomorrow, yes, live spaces, guys, tomorrow, like usual. I'm going to actually make Tim the co-host tomorrow because Martian's gone. He doesn't want to do the big pay-per-view cards. So I'm like, okay. So if you want to be the co-host tomorrow for the live spaces, I'll make you co-host tomorrow. Pajuski will have a massive reach advantage. Yeah, I mean, he should slay. Who's your favorite dog? It's Lazez for me, Antonio.
Same.
Hard. I also liked, like, I don't know if
actually is Zara Farren can't be considered a favorite dog, but that line is like so wide.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I kind of, but I don't like, the thing is I don't want to play her money line just because she doesn't look like she has a lot of power in her punches. I don't know if she can stop Nunez. So that's why I just went with decision. But yeah. But that's it, guys. We've been going on for an hour and a half. That wraps up our UFC 283 Lambo Play podcast. Tim, let the people know what you got going on tomorrow. Do you have anything with Sean and anything else they can watch of you?
Yeah, we got Sean and me do Spaces live tomorrow at 1:05 Central Standard Time. We're going to do a full breakdown of the fights and not, kind of do more money line and give Bill more breakdown on that end instead of props. And then I get here with you every Friday, and then love the live spaces that you do normally with Martian.
All right. Yeah, guys. Go give him a follow on Twitter. Very good guy. You can ask him any question. Tennis, you name it. Even Ja Allah, he's really good at that sport too. But yeah, guys, you can find me on Twitter at Narcocop. I did do a video for Stochastic Odd Shopper channel on YouTube. They have betting content. Really, really sharp guys in their Discord as well. So go give that YouTube channel a follow. My video will come out tomorrow morning. And tomorrow, like usual, live spaces, 6 Eastern is the start of the card, correct? Or 4 Eastern.
4:45 Central Standard Time, so 5:45.
5:45, so almost 6, yeah. So around 6 o'clock, we'll have live spaces. Tim will be my co-host tomorrow. We've been honestly killing these spaces, guys. Last week, 3 big live bets we had, and I absolutely smashed them, every single one of them, multiple bets, and won a ton on live bets. So if you're not in those spaces, you should be. You'll be making a lot of money and thanking us for being there. So yeah, guys, one last thing before I leave. I know there's still 62 of you in here. Please go to my Twitter, and if you see, I have a post of my son. He's actually competing in a jiu-jitsu tournament next Sunday, the 29th, and we're taking donations. It's for kids with cancer. It's a big, it's just something that they're giving money to that I really appreciate. Like, imagine, kids with cancer, they're giving out that money, and it's a great thing. Like, so please, if you can donate, I really appreciate it. We're trying to get to 1,000. We're very close. I think we're at 900 or something. So if you can go in there, I know a bunch of you already have donated. I really appreciate it. Thank you to each and every one of you. And yeah, that's it. Have a great night. Let's fucking cash those tickets tomorrow and let's crush them. Let's go.